Okay, so we're going to get started here with the section 7.3 part B notes. And today we're going to really extend what we did yesterday and continue with similar triangles. Now, the biggest thing about today is the triangles are going to kind of be a little mixed up and twisted inside each other. So we're really going to have to be sure that we start drawing these out as two separate triangles. And a lot of times we'll even try and orient them so they're oriented the same way. All right, so if I look at this first problem, what I'm going to notice is I've got these two congruent angles marked up here in the corners. Now, what that's going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to clearly say that the right and left side are parallel to each other, all right, because we have alternate interior angles. All right, once I have that parallel, then I can come back in and I have really two choices for the other angle. I can either use vertical angles here in the middle, all right, or I could use another alternate interior angle to get C and R congruent. All right, either way, I now have similar triangles by angle side angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these two triangles out, all right, and I'm going to carry all the labeling over. So A, and that's the filled in one, B up here at the top, which is the 2 mark angle, all right, R down here at the bottom, which is the one that has 3 marks on it. All right, BR was 12, AR was 6, and AB was Y. All right, now I'm going to recopy the bigger triangle, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to keep those lined up in the same way. All right, so even without the labels, I know I'm going to want the filled-in arc there, 3 arcs here, 2 arcs here. All right, now I can go back and just grab the letters. So C was at the 3 arcs, S was at the filled-in one, and B was at the top here. All right, we know that BC is labeled as X, CS is 12, and BS is 28. Now, the beauty of this is if I take this strategy and I rewrite these as two triangles, these become the easy problems from yesterday right away. If I don't break them apart, it's going to be very hard to get the proportions set up right. But if I do break them apart and structure them this way, now all I have to do is I just have to look at corresponding spots, which are really easy to identify. So I have the 6 and 12. All right, so that's going to be the ratio that I'm building off of. All right, so this time I did big to small, 12 to 6. All right, and I'm going to solve for the x first. So I have an x here and a 12 here. So that equals x over 12. Cross multiply, I get 12 times 12 equals 6 times x. Divide by 6, and if I take that to my calculator, I'll get a 24 there. All right, and again, the strategy that I'm using is the 6 goes into one of those 12s twice. 2 times 12 is 24. All right, so that gives us the x value. Now we're going to do a very similar thing to get the y value. We're still going to lean on the 12 over 6, but now we're going to go over to the other corresponding pair, the 28 and the y. So it equals 28 over y. I'm going to cross multiply again. 12 times y equals 28 times 6. All right, I'm going to divide both sides by 12. The 6 and 12 go to a 2. 28 over 2 is 14, so we get y equals 14. All right, and again, you can always use a calculator for that arithmetic. It's just sometimes I think hearing those strategies really helps you kind of say, oh, wait, I can do that. And a lot of times you'll find working without a calculator is just as easy, if not easier. All right, so that was number 1. So that is a very typical one. Now, these are still, I think, on the easier end of today because the triangles are separate and they're not overlapped in each other. When we go to the next one, we're going to notice the triangles are kind of right on top of each other. All right, this one lands in the easier camp of these as well because they're not twisted or turned. All right, so the orientation of the little triangle is the same as the big triangle. All right, but I'm still going to take this same strategy. Is I'm going to write these out as two separate triangles. All right, and what I notice is I've got parallel lines there, so I know those two are the same. Those two are the same. And this angle is shared, so it's in both triangles. All right, so if I get my markings 1, 2, and 3, all right, little triangle, that would be P, Q, and R. And we'd have a 12, a 14, and a Y. All right, then I'm going to draw another triangle with the same markings. All right, because it's going to be similar. So I have 1 arc here, 2 arcs here, 3 arcs here. All right, and that's going to be the big triangle. So I've got T, Q, and S. Now, when I look at this, it's really easy to grab the wrong length. We want this total side, which is 20. We want this total side, which is a y plus a 6. And then we want the full bottom, which is the x. All right, now, once we've done this, this really becomes a problem much like the last one once we had it rewritten. We're just going to look and set up proportions for corresponding spots. All right, so I look for the one I know. All right, I know the 12 and the 20 are related. So this time I'm going to go small to big. 12 over 20 equals. And then I'm just going to pick things that I think are, corresponding, which these two are, the x and the 14. All right, and 14 to x would be small to big. I cross multiply, and I get 12 times x equals 20 times 14. Divide by 12. All right, and this unfortunately doesn't clean up a whole lot for us. So I can take the 12 and I could reduce a 4 out of it and go to 3 and take that 20 to a 5. All right, but that's really all I can do from a cleanup standpoint. So now I have 5 times 14, which would be 50 plus 20 or 70 over 3. All right, in this semester we're going to be really big about leaving everything exact. All right, so we're going to leave that as 70 over 3. We could go to a mixed number if we want to, but you don't need to. All right, so usually we'll just stop here at the improper fraction. All right, now we're going to go to the other one, which is where the y is, and the y plus 6. So I have 12 over 20 equals y over y plus 6. I cross multiply. 12 times y plus 6 equals 20 times y. And then we're going to do some algebra work. So we'll distribute. And we get to here, 12y plus 82 equals 20y. We'll subtract the 12y. 82 equals 8y. All right, and at this point, we'll go ahead and divide each side by 8. All right, so what I notice first is that 2 goes into both of them, so we get 41 over 4 for the y value. And actually, I think I just saw I mismultiplied there. When I take 6 times 12, that's 60 plus 12, so that's 72 instead of 82. All right, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to fix that. And those little mistakes are going to happen for us occasionally. So we just want to be really careful with that because it can change our answer, as you just saw, kind of dramatically. All right, so here I notice I can take a 2 out of each, so that's 36 over 4. I can take I can take the full 4 out, and it's 9. All right, so I've got y equals 9. So those are our two problems, first two, where the two triangles are either separated or oriented in the same direction at the beginning, but overlapping. In each of these, we're going to draw them out as two separate triangles that are similar. Now, in the next video, we're going to come back and we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to have a little bit trickier pictures to work with. All right, so I'll be back in the next video. Thanks, bye.